Welcome and thank you for standing by. At this time, all participants are on a listen-only mode until the question and answer session of today's conference. At that time, to ask a question, press star one on your phone and record your name at the prompt. Today's call is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. I would now like to turn the call over to Nikita Chambers. Thank you. You may begin.
Good afternoon, and thank you for calling to participate in the pre-application conference for the Enterprise and Women of Color Notice of Funding Opportunity announcement. The FFO number in which we will go over today is MBDA OBD 2020-200-6443. Please make sure that you are tuned in to the correct pre-application conference. Again, this is the pre-application conference for the Enterprising Women of Color. We will have question and answer per section, but please keep all questions relevant to the Enterprising Women of Color. Overview, teleconference protocol. We're going to discuss important dates, the pre-application conference objectives, MBDA's background, the meat of the notice of funding opportunity announcement, which includes the Business Center objectives, the Business Center program priorities, the Business Center award information, application and submission information, your SAM number, submission dates and times, other submission requirements, application review information, review and selection process, award administration information, agency contact, other information, and we will have question and answer sessions. Teleconference protocol. Your phones are on mute. You are placed on listen-only mode. Questions are prompted at designated times and coordinated through the conference operator. This pre-application conference is focused on the Enterprise and Women of Color Notice of Funding Opportunity announcement. Again, please keep all questions relevant to the topic at hand, and please avoid from asking duplicating questions. Some important dates and information. The CFDA number is 11805, which is under our MBDA Business Center. The competition date was published March the 30th, 2020. The deadline is May 30th, 2020 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me repeat that. May 30th, 2020 is the deadline date at 11:59 p.m. MBDA does not host the grants.gov system. Therefore, we would not be able to accept any paper applications or any applications that's not submitted via the grants.gov site. Again, MBDA only accepts electronic applications through the grants.gov site. The anticipated start date for this award is September 1, 2020. A little background about MBDA, just 3 important factors. MBDA strategic alignment, the vision, our mission, and our strategy, which is all included in the PowerPoint presentation as well as the Notice of Funding Opportunity announcement. So I'm going to start with the Business Center program and objectives. Each of you should be able to view the PowerPoint presentation and have a copy of the announcement ready and available for your usage. This is the background. The Minority Business Development Agency is a bureau of the United States Department of Commerce, which we provide federal assistance to support innovative projects seeking to promote and ensure the inclusion and use of minority enterprises. The Minority Business Development Agency projects provide technical assistance and business development services to minority businesses and MBEs in accordance with our Executive Order 11625. Again, MBDA operates in accordance with the Executive Order 11625. Business Center Program Priorities. MBDA, a bureau of the United States Department of Commerce, leads federal government efforts to promote the growth and global competitiveness of minority business enterprises. MBDA has established key priorities designated to overcome the unique challenges faced by MBEs. MBDA is now initiating new approaches to serve MBEs that complement presidential priorities in conjunction with U.S. Department of Commerce goals. The Commerce Department and MBDA supports minority businesses and goals of the administration. MBDA has established the Enterprising Women of Color program as support. And you'll go in further detail the next paragraph. The next paragraph goes into detail about enterprising women of color. And if you look and read that paragraph, it goes deeply into the different reports of how many million minority-owned women businesses employed nearly 2.4 million people this year. Our program priorities, our agency requirement for this business center, it should be aligned with MBDA mission. Each proposed project should align, complement, and support MBDA's mission to support the growth and global competitiveness of America's growing minority business enterprise community. B, the service location. MBDA seeks to find projects located in any U.S. state or U.S. territory. C, performance. Funded projects must align with the MBDA program priorities, which is included in IA and ID, which is inside the opportunity announcement. D, innovation. Applications must address the unique challenges faced by minority business enterprises. MBDA especially encourages applicants to address challenges faced by women-owned businesses. Number 2, performance goals and metrics. In order to remain consistent with the agency's mission, applications should follow the measurement of growth of minority business enterprises. Applicants should plan projects that allow them to set goals in these areas and to capture success stories. The measures and goals, number of clients. Number of clients is defined as the actual number of MBEs served during the funding period. The clients must complete a written engagement form with the center for specific services. Number 2, number of contracts, which is defined as the number of awarded contracts and other binding procurement awards secured by clients. Number 3, number of success stories, which can be defined as quantitative measure of client success stories provided in a detailed narrative of the services rendered, the impact on MBE operations and or revenue, and the actual outcome. Operator, before I move forward to the next session, I would like to open it up for 5 questions.
Thank you. If you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your touch-tone phone. Make sure your phone is unmuted and record your name clearly when prompted. Your name will be required to introduce your question. If you need to withdraw your question, you may press star 2. Again, to ask a question, please press star 1 and record your name. It will take a moment for questions to come through. Please stand by. Our first question comes from Troy Oglesby. Your line is open.
Thank you, and thank you for having these calls. Wanted to know if our NAIC codes, if they're not under what we're registered in SAMS, can we still provide those services under a different NAIC code if we're able to transfer our business module?
So with SAM, the company or organization in which applies will have to be registered in SAM. That address will have to be in the data in the SAM system. So whatever organization you're applying for must have a SAM account.
But how about in terms of the products that we currently do, and now knowing that we have this pandemic, we can provide other types of services? Do we need to change our NIC code with SAM and with other agencies, or can we just participate?
You can still use the same NAICS code, but you will have to tailor the application to what's included in the Notice of Funding Opportunity announcement for this particular application.
Okay, well, thank you for my answer.
You're welcome.
The next question comes from Elisa Stimich. Your line is open.
Okay, good afternoon, Nikita. Thanks for having us. The first order of business is we're having a hard time accessing the slides. I do understand that after conclusion of this conference that you will have those posted on the website, but we're having a difficulty accessing that. First question, after reading the requirements, if we have comments regarding this particular grant opportunity, are you going to, do we just email you directly, or how will we be notified if other participants have the same questions? What is your plan on answering those questions and responding back and notifying everyone who's interested?
So can you be a little more specific in comments? We can't make any changes. If you made comments to what we've already issued in the NOFO, we won't be making any changes. But if you have any additional questions that's not presented on the call, you can email me, and I haven't gotten to that portion of the presentation, but there is a slide with my contact information on it, and my contact information is in Chambers, CHAMBERS, at mbda.gov if you have additional questions that are not presented on the call. And as far as you can't access the slides, I'm not for sure if it's the way you logged in, if you just did audio or if you clicked the link for the presentation, but the actual PowerPoint will also be posted to the MBDA website in conclusion of the pre-application conference.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The next question comes from Erisha. Your line is open.
Good afternoon. I have the same question about the slide presentation, but you answered it, so thank you. I'll just wait until the presentation is over to review them.
Okay, no problem. Operator, do we have any more questions?
My apologies, I was getting a name. The next question comes from Shannon Barr. Your line is open.
Mine was about the slides as well, because I couldn't, the conference last meeting passcode doesn't seem to be working, so I couldn't access the slides. That was my question as well.
Hello, this is Antavia Grimsley. We are resending out the link to everyone that is currently registered. So if you would just check your email, and you should be receiving an updated link, so that way you can log in and you can access the slides. In addition to that, the slides and a recording of the conference will be available within about 48 hours on the MBDA website as well.
Thank you.
The next question comes from Myra Tana. Your line is open.
I have the same question, so it's been answered. Thank you about the slides.
Okay, operator, can you hold on questions? I'm going to move to the next section of the NOFO. Also, for those who cannot see the slides, we apologize. We checked the links this morning. Of course, we were able to see the slides, but as Ms. Grimsley stated, she will resend the link so that you all can open the slides. The slides will also be posted to MBDA's website, and as Ms. Grimsley stated, there will be a recording as well of the pre-application conference that will also be posted as well. All frequently asked questions, we will type them up and we will post them to our website once they have cleared our Chief Counsel, Josephine Arnold. The next section I will be discussing is the award information. This is a very important slide. This is some very important information, so I will repeat it. Funding availability. MBDA expects to expend approximately $3 million. In FY20, 1.5, and in FY2021, 1.5. Again, the total award that MBDA expects to expend is $3 million. 1.5 will be expended in fiscal year 20, which means 3 awards at $500,000 each will be, we anticipate to be awarded in FY20. To fund the financial assistance awards under this announcement, again, $3 million. The funding amount referenced in this NOFO, which is a Notice of Funding Opportunity, are subject to the availability of appropriated funds. I want to repeat that. The funding amounts referenced in this Notice of Funding Opportunity are subject to the availability of appropriation funds. Publication of this NOFO does not obligate the U.S. Department of Commerce or MBDA to award any specific grant or cooperative agreement or to obligate all or any parts of available funding. Again, I want to highlight that. Publication of this NOFO does not obligate the U.S. Department of Commerce or MBDA to award specific grant or cooperative agreements or to obligate all or any part of available funding. The project award date. The project award date, MBDA will issue an award for a 2-year term. I want to repeat that. MBDA will issue an award for a 2-year term from September 1, 2020 through August 31st, 2022. Again, it's a 2-year term. Receipt of any prospective funding is also contingent upon the availability of funds from Congress and continued relevance to program objectives and will be at the sole discretion of the Department of Commerce. The type of funding instrument that we will use. Selected applicants will receive funding through a grant under this announcement. Again, the selected applicants will receive funding through a grant under this announcement. After the award is made, MBDA staff may assist the project by means of a post-award conference, ongoing collaboration, and communication. You will be assigned a program analyst, and that program analyst will communicate and coordinate with you throughout the duration of your project to ensure that your project is successful. Eligibility information. This is very key as well to the NOFO. Eligible applicants include for-profit entities, including but not limited to sole proprietorship, partnership, limited liability companies, and corporations, nonprofit organizations, institutions of higher education, commercial organizations, state and local government entities, and quasi-government entities. In order to be eligible to apply for this notice of funding, your organization must fall under one of those categories. Cost sharing or matching, as some of you refer to it. Cost sharing is not required unless determined by the applicant that the project can only be funded with matching cost share funding. It is not a requirement. Let me repeat that because I have received questions. Non-federal cost share matching is not a requirement for the Women of Color Notice of Funding Opportunity. Other criteria that may affect your eligibility, none at this time. Operator, I would like to open it up to take 5 questions.
Again, as a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question for this section, please press *1 and record your name clearly when prompted. Again, to remove your question, it is *2 and *1 to ask a question. Please stand by for any incoming questions. Our first question comes from Marie Brooks. Your line is open.
Hi, good morning, or afternoon, I should say. Okay, so I have several businesses going right now. I'm a reseller for technology, but yet I have a website I would like to start up, and it would like e-commerce almost for women of color. So I'm just wondering, will I be eligible to join the program?
So to be eligible to apply for the program, your company must fall under one of those eligible
for profit, right?
So
right. So right.
Yeah. So if you are registered and your company, your organization falls under one of those eligibility requirements, yes, you are eligible to apply.
For a startup also. Okay. Okay then. Thank you. That's my question.
The next question comes from Christine Edwards. Your line is open.
Hello, good afternoon. My question has to do with the availability of the visual slide deck. Could you please make that available to people on the call? I'm unable to access it using the email that was sent out this afternoon.
So the slides will not be available until the conclusion of the call.
Okay, step 2 of your email instructions asks for us to view the deck during the call, but I understand. Thank you so much.
Right. Yes, but due to whatever technical difficulties people are having with the link, Ms. Grimsley re-emailed out the link, and if you're still having some difficulties with the accessing the link, at this time, I can only provide you the link in the slides posted to our website at the conclusion of the pre-application conference. My apologies.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question comes from Roxanne Nielsen. Your line is open.
Thank you so much. My question was answered.
Thank
again,
you,
if your question
Roxanne.
has been asked, you can press star 2 to be removed from the queue. The next question comes from Rena. Your line is open.
Thank you, and good afternoon. My question is related to the grant. By applying for this grant, do we exclude ourselves from applying to any other grants for the same technology or product? Do we create any conflicts for ourselves? Thank you.
So your question was, I want to repeat your question to ensure I understand it. If you apply for this opportunity, do you exclude yourself from applying from any other opportunities?
Correct. Would this create any sort of conflict?
Not at all. Not at all. You can apply for as many open competitions as you would like.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And the next question comes from Jermaine Mitchell. Your line is open.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Nikita, I was just wondering, are we encouraged to form collaboratives to apply for this particular grant opportunity?
So that's not something that I can direct you on. If you choose to collaborate with another organization or partner with multiple organizations, that will be solely up to you. But what I can tell you is that the award will only be made to one organization, and that organization will have the fiscal responsibility in ensuring that the award stays in line with the terms and conditions of the award if accepted.
Excellent. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Operator, I'll take one more question, and then I'll move to the next section.
The next question comes from Kay. Your line is open.
Yes, good afternoon. My question was, somewhere in the material I read that applicants are encouraged to provide services to women-owned MBEs. Is this the only provision of services once we get the grant? Or are we able to provide services to non-women-owned businesses also?
So if you read through the NOFO, I don't think we just singled out. There are different points throughout the NOFO, but yes, you can help minority women that's in business.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So with that being said, I'll move to the next portion of the NOFO, which is application and submission information. This slide is also very critical. The address to request the application package is www.grants.gov. Again, I would like to repeat that. The website in which you will apply for the solicitation is www.grants.gov. Helpful competition materials such as frequently asked questions can be found on the MBDA portal at www.mbda.gov, as well as all competitions that MBDA has posted is also a link on www.mbda.gov. Content form of the application. General requirements. The application must provide sufficient information for the agency to make a determination of merit of the proposal. Each applicant's proposal must describe in detail the programmatic deliverables that address the agency requirements for the center. Again, I want to repeat that. Each applicant's proposal must describe in detail the programmatic deliverables that address the agency requirements for the center. I would encourage you all to read over the NOFO maybe once or twice just to kind of understand the metrics, the goals, and the intent what MBDA is trying to reach, the goals that we are trying to reach, and the body of individuals who we are trying to reach with this Enterprise and Women of Color NOFO. So please take your time and read through the NOFO maybe once or twice just to make sure that you understand what we're asking. A title page, 1-page limit. Table of contents, 1-page limit. Your applicant narrative, 10-page limit. Your project synopsis, 2-paragraph limit. A detailed project description. Your applicant capability. All of your standard forms and budget narratives is very critical. It's very critical that you complete your 424 application for federal assistance in its entirety. Please make sure that you have your proper email addresses, telephone number. Make sure that form is completed. Your 424A, which is your budget for non-construction, that's very important. That's very key. The budget narrative should outline every budget line item you have listed on your 424. Your budget narrative should in detail speak to that same dollar amount. Your budget 424A should mirror your budget narrative in detail. Please do not leave any room for assumption. Please make sure that the dollar amounts match. Make sure the forms are completed. Your CD 511, the lobbying form, please make sure that those are required forms that have to be submitted with your application. Each application, unless the applicant is a federal awarding agency which has an exception from requirements of 2 CFR, are required to, 1, register in SAM before submitting the application. Again, your organization, your entity must be registered with SAM. That website is www.sam.gov. Let me repeat that again. The organization or entity in which is applying must be registered with SAM, www.sam.gov. SAM, provide a valid unique identifier in the application. Make sure your number is there. Continue to maintain an active SAM registration with your current information at all times. Please make sure that your SAM account is updated. In conclusion of the call, if you just want to double check, please double check to make sure that your SAM account is active. MBDA may not make a federal award to an applicant until the applicant has completed the SAM identifier requirements. It is out of my control. We cannot accept any applications. You won't be permitted to apply through grants.gov if your SAM account is not validated through SAM. Again, MBDA cannot make no provisions to accept a paper application outside of grants.gov. Submission dates and time. All proposals must be received on or before May 30th, 2020, 11:59. Let me repeat that. All proposals must be received on or before May 30th, 2020, 11:59. I would encourage you to try to get your application submitted 2 to 3 days before the deadline. I don't know how many interested applicants we may have, but if there's an overload of applications, you want to ensure that your application is submitted, validated through grants.gov, and that you receive an email confirmation back from grants.gov. MBDA does not host the grants.gov site. That is not a site that belongs to MBDA, and or is we don't oversee grants.gov at all. So if you have any questions, any issues with grants.gov, if you don't receive a confirmation, please contact the grants.gov hotline. And the number is also, if you go to their website, they have a 1-800 number. Again, applications may be submitted starting from the publication date of this NOFO up until the deadline. Applications received after May 30th will not be reviewed for consideration for funding. Applications must be submitted electronically via grants.gov. The electronic submission will receive a date and time stamp from www.grants.gov and processed after it's fully uploaded. Applicants should anticipate receiving confirmation of a successful submission within 48 hours. It is imperative that applicants obtain your confirmation for proof of success. If you don't receive a confirmation from grants.gov within 48 hours, I encourage you to call the grants.gov hotline. Other submission requirements. This is some information that MBDA just decided to share with you all to just help encourage you to start the process early. It takes time to complete and upload your application. Again, please don't wait to the last minute to submit your application. The website to submit your application is grants.gov. MBDA cannot accept applications outside of the grants.gov site. Make sure that your company, your organization is registered with grants.gov. Make sure you have your grants.gov account. Make sure everything is updated with your account, specifically your authorized organization representative. I cannot stress enough that electronic applications is the only way that MBDA would accept the award. We're going to move to the application review information section. The narrative is worth 65 points, which includes your project description, your applicant capability, the project goals, and objectives. Please make sure that those are clearly defined in your application, very detailed. The next application budget is worth 35 points. Please make sure the budget breakdown, which I just spoke about on your 424A, you have your budgetary line items. Please make sure they are clearly identified and your budget narrative corresponds with the 424A. The review and selection process. There's the initial screening. So once you apply through grants.gov, the application is validated. It downloads to the Department of Commerce grant system, which is Grants Online. I will receive a notification. Once I receive that notification, I review the application for the initial minimum requirement. Once we get that, you have the MBDA merit panel review. MBDA assigns a program analyst to be a panel chair, and then we have 3 reviewers who are SMEs, subject matter experts in the field of enterprise and women of color. Those individuals have read the announcement. They're very familiar with the announcement, so they know what to look for. And then we have the selecting factors. The award administration information. As you see outlined in the NOFO, you have your anticipated announcement and federal award date, your award notice, and your administrative and national policy requirements, as well as reporting requirements. Reporting requirements is very, very key. The selected applicant reporting requirements is key. Semi-annual is the first 6 months, and then you'll have years, your annually reporting requirements. In between, your assigned program analyst will call you quarterly to check on you to make sure that you are meeting the goals and deliverables, to make sure that you have everything that you need to be successful with your grant. The agency contact. The agency contact is myself, Nikita Chambers. I'm the program manager. I can be reached via telephone at 202-482-0065, and my email address is nchambers@mbda.gov. Operator, I would like to pause and open it up for 5 questions.
Thank you. Again, as a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please press *1 and record your name. We'll take a moment for questions to come through. Please stand by. The first question we have is from Troy Oglesby. Your line is open.
Yes, hi. Nikita, I'm wondering if you're aware if SAMs waived their fees, because we have one arm that already has a SAM registration, but their core items is in uniform apparel and accessories, and then our others in lab testing, and we're not registered with SAMs. Is there a waived fee? I'm not sure if I've seen that because the last time I checked, they're looking for a $500 registration fee.
Not to my knowledge, that fee is not waived at all.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question comes from Sharonda. Your line is open.
Hello, Nikita. I have a question. I think you answered it. Oh, I think someone asked the question earlier, but I wanted to make sure our organization is eligible for this funding opportunity. We are a nonprofit 501c3, and our mission focuses on education in K through 12. Are we eligible to apply?
So the organization is a nonprofit. Nonprofits are eligible entity, and that is also included in the NOFO under eligible applicants. So I would encourage you to read through the NOFO, read through the goals and performance measures to make sure that this is something that you are interested in applying for.
Okay, thank you.
The next question comes from Takia Kegler. Your line is open.
Hi, Nikita. My name is Shakia Kegler. I'm actually calling to ask a quick question. I want to piggyback off of something. So the SAM registration is actually free. It's 100% free, so you need to go to the actual SAM.gov website. There are a bunch of companies that will charge to do a SAM registration, but it's 100% free, so you should probably check that out. But my question was about the incumbent for the award, for this previous award, and then also if they are still, if they are allowed to apply for this grant, and then, yeah, that's basically my question about the incumbent for the award.
So to understand your question, there is no incumbent.
Okay.
This is a brand new award. If you are referring to the previous awards we made under the broad agency announcement, we had 2 applicants that applied for the Global Women Broad Agency announcement, but this is totally different. This is a business center.
Got it. Okay.
So there's no incumbent. This is the very first time we are having Enterprise of Women of Color Business Center.
Okay. I think I was confused because I saw the global one and I also saw the Women of Color's business tour, so I thought they were under the same umbrella. But thank you so much for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too.
And our next question comes from Kyle Jackson. Your line is open.
Hi, thank you for putting this together. I think my question was also somewhat related to the previous one. I've been trying to understand the amount of people that have applied previously, but you said this is a brand new program. But just to be clear, you said in the global program there were only 3 applicants or 3 people received the award?
Repeat your question. I only referred to this announcement. This announcement is we had 3, and in the previous broad agency announcement, which was different from the business center, we had 2 applicants.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And the next question comes from Charlotte Wooten. Your line is open.
Good afternoon. I am a sole proprietor, and I'm surfing in new territories. Are there any resources or any types of any individuals that can do like a one-on-one walkthrough with me?
No, we don't give one-on-ones because we would have to provide that to all the interested applicants. So we don't provide one-on-one training. We outline everything and all the steps in the NOFO. There are some tools on our website to help you apply for a successful award, but we cannot help you one-on-one.
Okay. And another thing, I again, I'm a sole proprietor. However, I am trying to build a relationship with a franchise. So during the application process, would I list it as myself, sole proprietor, until I have been given the green light for this franchise company that I'm trying to work with?
Whatever company you have registered with SAM is the company that will have to apply for the award.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Would you like to take one more question?
One more question, operator.
Perfect. The next question comes from Elisa Stimmich. Your line is open.
Okay, so my question is kind of an add-on to the other gentleman. So after the 2 years have concluded with this grant, what is the expectation from MBDA on this product? Will this continue on and be funded? And if so, would it be identified as a traditional grant, or will it be a solicitation where it'll be either sole source, competitive set aside for WOSB, EWOC? So what's the expectation from the agency?
Let me address your first question. This current funding opportunity announcement is for 2 years. The anticipated start date is September 20th through August 31st, 2022. We do not know at this time, and I cannot answer you. It would be pre-decisional for me to say that the 3 applicants that is selected will receive additional funding beyond the 2 years. That's pre-decisional. Also, with the applicant who is selected, there are reporting requirements that, they will have to succeed at. So I cannot answer that question right now. We just have what we have, a 2-year notice of funding opportunity announcement that starts in 2020 and it ends in 2022.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to move on to other important information. The selected applicants, there will be a mandatory post-award teleconference that will take place. For travel, this is something that you all need to know. The National Minority Enterprise Development Week, which is known as Mayor Week, is mandatory, and is mandatory for the program coordinator and your project director. It's mandatory for those 2 individuals to attend. The MBDA National Conference, we normally have an annual training conference for all of our grant recipients. That conference brings all of our equities together to collaborate on different things and just to get to know one another. It also brings collaboration with MBDA, not just the Office of Business Development, but our Office of Chief Counsel, our Office of the National Director. It brings us all together so we can collaborate as one. Past performance and non-compliance with award provisions. That's very, very important. The anticipated selected applicants must always remain in compliance with the terms and conditions of these awards. The selected applicants must take responsibility, review all risks, audit costs. If the grant exceeds $750,000, you are mandated to have an audit. Freedom of Information Act and disclosure. So a strategy for this competition, this approach, it's a bottom-up approach. Understand MBDA, understand who we are and what we do. Go to our website, www.mbda.gov, to learn a little more about MBDA and the partnership. Identify strategic complements. Build capacity. Align with partnerships. Develop your proposals. Develop a strong proposal. Align the budget with the performance metrics that's outlined in the NOFO. Hire the staff that you needed, just staff that's needed. Make sure that you have the correct staff in place for the deliverables so that the deliverables can be met. Make sure that you align your budget. Again, I want to stress how important the budget, the 424A, is in conjunction with your detailed budget narrative. Complete application packages. Please make sure you submit complete application packages. As I stated before, MBDA cannot accept applications outside of grants.gov. Please be sure to start your process early. Their website is www.grants.gov. Please ensure that your SAM account is validated. Please ensure that you apply by the deadline, May 30th, 2020. Again, I can't encourage you enough, and I can't stress enough the importance of reading the Notice of Funding Opportunity just to make sure that you understand what's required of you and what will be required of you if you are selected as an applicant. Operator, before I close out, I would like to open it up for 5 questions.
Thank you. Again, it is *1 if you would like to ask a question. If your question is asked, you may remove yourself from the queue by pressing *2. Please stand by for any incoming questions. One moment.
Good afternoon. This is Antavia Grimsley again. While we're waiting for the next question, I just want to give everyone heads up that we did resend out the link, but we'll also send out the presentation to everyone that is registered via email. And in addition to that, like we stated earlier, the presentation along with the audio will be available on mbda.gov within the next 48 hours. So we do apologize for anyone that did have some technical difficulties with accessing the presentation portion of today's call. Thank you.
Thank you. And our first question comes from Kyle Jackson. Your line is open.
Thank you. Just 2 questions, and this might be answered in the presentation slides, but what are the reporting requirements for the program, and also how long will the committee then make a decision once the deadline passes? So when will we find out?
So your first question about reporting requirements, that is outlined in the NOFO. If you have not read the NOFO in its entirety, I would encourage you to do so. But the reporting requirements is 6 months, as I stated, which is semi-annual and annual year-end. There may be periodic quarterly check-ins from your assigned program analyst, but that is detailed in the NOFO. As far as when will you find out, that's also included in the Notice of Funding Opportunity announcement.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question comes from Kat Bloomfield. Your line is open.
Hi, thank you so much for having this. So I'm interested in whether you are emphasizing focus on a metropolitan area or multiple metropolitan areas or multiple states. We are a national organization, but we are based out of one metro area. So I just wanted to see if there was an emphasis on cross-state work.
So if you have read the notice says as long as it's in the U.S. and U.S. territory. So again, that's why I want to stress, please make sure you read the NOFO in its entirety so that you would know, small things, so that you would know that, yes, it is open to the U.S. We don't have a designated location.
Okay, thank you very much.
Our next question comes from Mark Simon. Your line is open.
Hi, thank you. I think I was just going to erase my question. It was very similar to the previous one, asking if there was any desired scope geographically, given that there's only 3 awardees, how much of the U.S. HRSA is hoping to cover across these 3 awardees?
So the opportunity is open to the U.S., and, we will hope, just like our business centers don't have borders. That's one thing about MBDA. So this business center, if you are located in the Washington, D.C. area, and someone from Atlanta, if you're having a webinar, if you're having any type of program. It's with MBDA Hope that you will be able to assist whatever company that reached out to you that's in Atlanta. With technology these days and the advanced technology, our centers don't have borders. So we can help. We're able to help anybody, anywhere.
That is actually a very helpful answer. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And the next question comes from Miritana. Your line is open.
Hi. I know you said there was no required match, but I'm wondering if an application will be more competitive if the applicant offers a match, and also whether an application will be more competitive if the applicant has successfully completed an MBDA grant in the past.
No. The answer to both of them is no.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Match is not a requirement at all. If you choose and you feel like your project needs matching to accomplish its goals and its mission, that's solely up to you. But with matching funds, your matching funds have to be met. They also have to be letters of commitment, not letters of support, but letters of commitment. The downside to matches, if you include match in your application and that application is approved and for whatever reason you don't meet the match, your non-federal share will be decreased so that you will have to meet that match. But again, non-federal share is not required and it will not give an applicant a better opportunity if they include it. Next question, operator.
Thank you. The next question comes from Crystal Wilson. Your line is open.
Hi. I live in Florida and I own a construction company. Am I qualified for this grant? I'm a licensed contractor.
Under the eligible applicants, if your organization falls under an eligible applicant. If you are LLC, sole proprietorship, a nonprofit, a profit, a university, if your organization or entity falls under one of them, you are eligible to apply.
Okay. Because on the budget breakdown, it keeps saying non-construction as appropriate. So I just wanted to clarify that construction companies can apply.
Yep, 424B is non-construction.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that was our fifth question. Did you want to take any more?
Yes, operator. We have a couple more minutes. I'll take two more.
Excellent. The next question comes from Dana Wilson. Your line is open.
Hi. I wanted to first get clarification on what you were saying about the audits. That it was hard to hear. Did you say that we will be required to have an audit? And then I have a second part of the question.
Under 2 CFR, which all grants are governed, once a grant recipient reaches the threshold of $750,000, whether it's combined grants from different entities or one, you are required to have an audit performed. So if you had previous grants and you reach the threshold of $750,000, if you're selected for the MBDA Enterprise and Women of Color Award, yes, you will have to have an audit done.
Thank you for that clarification. And in addition to that, I also wanted to know, in terms of previous people mentioned about partnerships, if you have a partnership, would they be considered a subcontractor? Like if you're the lead agency receiving the funds, but you have a partner, would the partners be subcontractors?
That's something that your organization will have to determine. I can't tell you to make them subcontractors or subawardees, ma'am.
Okay, so it could go either way.
The responsibility from MBDA, my sole responsibility will be the binding agreement that I have with the organization who applied for the grant. How you subcontract or have subawards, I don't have any say-so in that, ma'am.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
The next question comes from Sheila. Your line is open.
Hi, good afternoon, Nikita. Our proposal is for the establishment of a minority business center in a city locale. Would the center have to have a component that is solely for minority, women of color, or can it be like a general center serving minority entrepreneurs as a whole?
We have to minority business enterprises, MBEs, whether they're women, whether they're men, as long as you serving minority businesses.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
One more question, operator.
Give me one moment here. The next question comes from Nancy Karen. Your line is open.
Hello, Nikita. Would it be allowable to put someone who's currently 100% MBDA business center director partially on this budget?
No, ma'am. For current MBDA award recipients, 100% project director, that is exceeding the time frame. So, no, you cannot.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Again, before I close out, I want to stress a few important factors. This is an Enterprising Women of Color Notice of Funding Opportunity announcement to help women of color. I want to stress that. I want to stress number 2, MBDA cannot accept applications outside of grants.gov. That website is grants.gov. SAM, please ensure that your SAM account is updated and validated. Please don't wait to the last minute to apply for the announcement. It takes 48 hours for grants.gov sometimes to send a confirmation email. The closing date for this application is May 30th, 2020, 11:59 p.m. With that being said, I'd like to thank you all for your patience. MBDA apologizes for any technical difficulties that you may have had. For every registered applicant, we will ensure that you receive the PowerPoint presentation this afternoon. The PowerPoint will also be uploaded to our website, as well as within 48 hours, the audio will be posted to the website. I thank you all for your participation. I thank you for your time. And I look forward to receiving as many applications as we can. I hope you all are successful. And again, thank you, and the call is now ending.
Thank you. That concludes today's conference. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect at this time.